I've always loved running, and I think I really just loved the sense of adventure I got when I would go for a run. And that's part of the reason why I was drawn to trail running or ultra marathons. On the 2nd of September 2011, I was running in an ultra marathon, which is usually around 100 kilometres. So I was a quarter of the way through the ultra marathon and I became trapped by a grass fire. You know, I remember just being faced with a wall of flames, and the thoughts that were going through my head was how unfair it was that I was never going to see Michael again, and that we wouldn't be able to create our future together, and that we would never have kids. We waited for hours for help to arrive, and help arrived in the form of the local paramedics from town. And I recognised one of the paramedics because I used to volunteer with her on my weekends off from work. So I said, "Hey Bonnie, how are ya?" Now she just gave me a blank look. She didn't even recognise me. And so I said, "It's me, it's Turia." She didn't say anything back, but I noticed a tear start to roll slowly down her face. And, you know, although part of me thought I was fine, I'd be back at work on the Monday, seeing her tears made me think maybe this is way more serious than I could have ever anticipated. I was medevaced to hospital. I walked off the helicopter into the hospital. I was begging the doctors and nurses, "Can someone please call Michael?" I woke up around a month later in a hospital in Sydney.
So when Turia was in hospital, I got a call at about 12 o'clock in the middle of the morning from a doctor at the hospital who had told me all about the accident, what had happened to Turia. And I was quite shocked, and my initial thoughts were, how bad was the accident? How bad is she? And they sort of said, like, it's life-threatening.
When you're burned, what they do is they'll remove your burnt and damaged skin, but then they need something to cover you with. Now, real skin is the best stuff to use because it's got infection-fighting properties. But when I was injured, there was no skin in Australia at the time. And so my surgeons frantically searched the world to find some skin, and thankfully for me, they found some skin in America through the MTF. Now that skin got packaged, got sent to Australia, but then came my surgeon's next problem. Customs in Australia would not let this life-saving package of skin through.
And so the surgeon called the customs up and he said, "Look, if you don't allow this skin to come through, she'll die, and she'll die like this afternoon. I've done everything I can to preserve her life." So that was a pretty full-on moment, and so the customs heard that and they actually cleared the skin, which was illegal at the time.
Thankfully for me, they got the skin, they covered me with it, and within a couple of days, I made a dramatic improvement. My vital signs all turned around, and my doctors managed to put me in a relatively stable position. Without that skin that was donated, I would not be here today. That skin literally saved my life, and it was due to the generosity and the grace of 16 Americans that I'm here today. It's very easy for us to get caught up in the narrative of our life, and it's very easy for people to start using excuses. So, you know, this happened, so I can't do this, or I'm too busy, so I can't do that, and I don't have a supportive partner, and this happened to me. And yeah, bad stuff does happen to good people every single day, but that's not what defines you. What defines you is how you respond to those challenges, how you cope with those challenges. I'm incredibly passionate about tissue donation. The impact that donor has is extraordinary. One tissue donor can help to heal and transform the lives of up to 100 different people. So that's a pretty extraordinary legacy that donor leaves, and I think that's a really beautiful thing for someone to do.
When Turia was in the coma, it was very uncomfortable, but she was the girl that I fell in love with, and she was still going to be the same girl I fell in love with. And so it was at that time when she was in the coma that I bought her a diamond ring. Without that skin, you know, she wouldn't be here. So I always think about that, and it'll be in our lives forever, that some unknown people in America have beautifully given their skin, and it saved her life, which has given me back my girlfriend, and we now have a future together. You know, hopefully we're going to have kids and get married, and Turia's fit and healthy, and she's inspiring people all over Australia and the world, and life's good again.